Yeah, well, 8th in the world. I don't know if there's a lot of. There's only 7 places for improvement, Robbie. I don't know if you figured that out or not. We're sitting in the Riata restaurant in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, actually. They're headed home to Alberta. I'm headed home to Nebraska. We'll take a break and come back with more from Dallas-Fort Worth in Rural Route after this. Bill Brody, the founder, the visionary behind the All-American Beef Battalion, also sitting here. Every time that I'm with you, Bill, I say, how in the world are we going to have a more fulfilling experience than that? And then we top it like we did again today in Fort Bliss.
Well, Trent, this thing is just, it's such a humbling experience, too. I mean, these young people they're so grateful for us for doing so little. And the colonel was so appreciative. He said, these young people are going to be in a very strong combat situations in the near future. And he said they're going to remember this day. He said it's going to mean a whole lot to them, and it'll be something they'll look forward to coming home.
Welcome back. Rural Route to the program. I'm Trent Lewis, coming to you today from the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Jeff, you notice all those people walking by looking at us like, what in the heck are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know. You kind of get that too. But, down here,
Somebody here at the restaurant.
Oh, at the restaurant. Oh, yeah.
I think we're whacked.
Yeah, I think they're getting that too, yeah.
Jeff Orr's on my left. Don Eady sitting in center field, just kind of giving you a lay of the land, and Robbie Mackay. And, Don, you tell me that you're used to people walking up to you in airport saying, hey, would you be on my radio show?
Well, one of my friends said, Don, if they ever bury a microphone in the floors of a hall, you'll dig it up and find it. So
you made it was like an omen. I had no chance but to ask you about it.
Yeah, they'd say, you could go down there all the way to that airport and you'd run into somebody that's got a microphone. That's pretty cool.
Now you can prove that that's true.
Well, I wish I could do more in that area, but having fun and entertaining is a big part of my life, and I want to surround myself with people that like my humor.
Well, I don't know if I like your humor or not. I'll wait to see. Yeah. You guys got to travel with him. I'm going to stay here and continue my nourishment. What's the state of the horse industry in the United States? Or I know the United States, in Alberta.
Canada follows closely to the United States.
Wait, Jeff, let me back up. I apologize. What's your role in this? We got Robbie's 8th in the world. Don's just breeding the horses to try to beat the Texans. What do you do?
Well, I train. I'm from a town about an hour north of Calgary, and I showed down here in the Derby. I got
call it the North Pole.
Yeah, the Arctic, with dog sleds and igloos and ice hockey, so all that good stuff. So I'm down here. I showed too. Had some success. Placed in the Derby, qualified for the top 10 in the Hackamore, the limited open Hackamore class. But I also represent Alberta as the president of the Alberta Rein Cow Horse Association.
So you're the one this guy's supposed to be hunting the microphone down.
Yeah, I know, but I'm with a tough crowd. I got like a microphone magnet over there, so I just do what I can. I just get any little scraps.
So back to the horse industry itself. You know all about our challenges with shutting down horse harvesting plants. We're hauling horses into Alberta as fast as we possibly can, as fast as you'll let us haul them in there. What's the overall state of the industry in Alberta?
Well, I think it's on the upswing. I think our industry's probably closely followed the American industry. The economy's been tough the last couple of years. The economy's picking up. It probably, if we could break it down, the horse industry probably follows the price of oil in Alberta. And, the price of oil's back, the industry's back, and with that, so's a strong horse economy.
The whole challenge of continuing to keep those plants open, do you feel any of that?
Well, I can't say for certain. That's not my expertise. But, I know we've got plants open, and, the price for horses have been depressed. But I think now that the glut's maybe moved out of the system, that I think there is this optimism in Alberta.
So, Donnie, as you're breeding a colt, selling a colt, do you sell those as weanlings and then hope to place them in the right hands so that they'll take them and get along with them, or do you maintain them until you've got a year or two on them and go through like you talked about the Snapple program earlier?
Well, Trent, you've nailed you've nailed the issue for us, because at one time my wife and I, we raised babies and we sold babies, and then we didn't really know much more about what happened after that. was hard to keep track about who bought them. So we made a decision about 5 or 6 years ago that we would take all of our, we only raised 5 a year, so it's not a big deal. We've really slimmed our numbers down. But we take 5 horses, and when they get to 2 years old, we take them to the trainer, we get an evaluation on them, and we try to pick out the one that he likes to ride the best, and we campaign that horse, and the other 4 will become sale horses.
Sale horses to?
Basically to the world at large. We've sold horses to ranchers in our neighborhood. Team penning is huge in Alberta. Robbie spent a lot of his time on penners, and so there's a market for a good cow horse on the penning side. We have sold horses to the rope horse guys, but they really want a seasoned horse, so you can't afford to keep a horse till 6 or 7 years old to get it sold. So our program is, maybe we're a little unusual. We don't hit the weanling sales. We don't hit the yearling sales. We get an evaluation on, and it's really that we want to prove to ourselves that we got a good horse, and we want to show it to the world when we have one.
What is the mechanical and fundamental difference, Robbie, between competing in reining cow horse and team penning?
Well, primarily the difference is night and day, because the team penning doesn't require the skills that it does or horsemanship. In the ring.
You want my email address or your email address for all those emails from the team penners that are going to call in?
Believe me, I did very well at team penning, and like I say, I got nothing bad to say about anybody. I can tell you, it's a little more involved in the ring cow horse, that's for sure, than the team penning. But they're both two great groups of people, and the industry is growing in both of them, and they're fun to be at both for sure.
Jeff, this is probably your question. These aren't 20-something-year-old guys. I'm including myself. Are there young people getting in horse competitions, or are we just moving so fast in today's world that young families don't take the time to do horse competitions?
We see that, actually. And, we've noticed in Alberta, that's one thing we're trying to promote is the youth in the industry. We've got a growth from, realistically, middle-aged, later people. They've got some disposable income. They can afford to enter the game, But I think it's a challenge for us is to try to bring youth in. And we do, recognize that. And it's something we've addressed. And hopefully we can keep more young people coming into the event.
What's the demographic of the average member or participant in Alberta? Is it somebody that is a rancher? Is it somebody that has an off-farm income? Or is there no demographic whatsoever? It's all over the board.
No, there's a diverse... there's a bit of a range. Definitely there is the one that's got some off-farm income. They go do whatever they do. But, there is the thing with the cow horse with being able that you got to do a rein work, you got to do a fence work. Having some stock skills is definitely a benefit. And those ones that have grown up with stock, maybe have a bit of an advantage off the start. But the thing that we find is that it's a very nice cross-section because, there is people, entry-level people, there is people with some skills, some natural cow and horse sense. And I think that's what makes it a fun group to be a part of.
You've spent a lot of time in the United States. You don't have your Canadian dialect that normal Canadians have. Why?
What do you mean, eh?
No, I had to ask you to bring it on. Your O's and your A's are different. Is that just the way it is?
Yeah, I think you're just an individual's an individual. I don't want to go call everybody hosers down in the States, but... So
you guys are sending my email off the charts.
Yeah. No, so I don't know. No, hosers.
Hosers. He meant to say Hoosiers, I think. Yeah. Donnie.
Oh, yeah. In that regard, one of our youngest members came down here in the Derby, and he won 4 divisions of the Derby. And I'm going to tell you something. They knew who John Murphy was when all these Texas and California Derby guys saw John ride. So we had huge success in the Circle-wide Derby with a very young non-pro who quite will become a trainer. So we do have the youth side happening.
I think that's great news. We need more young people in all segments of agriculture-related activities. How many people show up and participate in this event in San Angelo where you've been?
Jeff, would there have been 15 of us there?
Well, okay, 15 from Alberta, but how many total?
It was what? I can't give an exact number, but it was 10 full days of showing. So, without trying to give a number, Boy,